time it is. It's time to roll up and roll out. How you do that there? MyT Sports Podcast. How you do that there? Good evening and welcome back to another edition of the MyT Sports Podcast. I am your host, the one and only Talento Mandela. Yo, it is another Fuego day in the hottest city in the world. We're coming at you live and direct from South Florida. It is officially October 31st. It's Halloween. They said today we was going to have highs of 87, lows of 74, currents. Current temp. You know what? I apologize. You know what? Can we redo this? Can we redo this? Hey, if you guys don't mind, especially for the people on video, can we redo this? We gonna redo this if you guys don't mind. We're gonna run this back. I'm sorry. There we go. Okay. Let's try this again. Evening and welcome back to another edition of the MyT Sports Podcast. I am your cool of the evening, Talento Mandela. Yo, it is another spooky and fuego day in the hottest city in the world. We're coming at you live and direct from South Florida. It's officially October 31st. It's Halloween. They said we had highs of 87, lows of 74. Current temperature right now is 81 degrees. And boy, we about to have 81 degrees of separation today. It's getting hot in here. Keep on your costumes. But ladies, it's okay if you want to take off your clothes. Woo! Let's get into another edition of the MyT Sports Podcast. This is officially Volume 8, Episode 21, Track 475 of the MyT Sports Podcast. And boy, do we have a big show for you today. As you can see, we're here in semi-costume. I'm sorry, I had to run that back. For you video people, for you audio people, I know you were like, yo, what the hell did he do different except for add a little bit of spookiness? You guys have to watch the video. Everything changed up. I had to add the costume in here. I ain't gonna lie. We're gonna be readjusting this all night. This gets into the way of the odds. But I'm gonna assume that almost everything I have prepared for you, for the most part, is gonna get in way of the odds, boy. Because do we have a looker for you guys today? Listen, we're gonna see if we can actually pass this conversation, past Russia and everybody else that may want to block it. But we gonna talk about the billionaire Ye today, right? We're gonna talk about Britain, China. We're gonna talk about being unapologetic. But I'm telling you, the blackness is picking up real quick. We gonna get into our week 8 highlights, right? We got the birthday shout outs to get into, right? It's been a sad weekend for New York. I'm not gonna lie. That's why I'm glad Halloween is today. Put me in a little bit of a celebratory mood, because if not, then I'll just be dressed up as a better New Yorker. And I'm walking. We got a Brooklyn team party that we gotta talk about, right? which we also got some Kyrie to talk about, right? Obviously, we got Tom Brady to talk about. We got Lakers getting their first win. Why is it every single team that Patrick Beverly is on has an over celebration for mediocrity, right? And we're gonna talk Aaron Rodgers, Anthony Davis, all of the big wigs and more coming up next on the MyT Sports Podcast. But you know what we say here, regardless of the time and regardless of the weather, Coach, tell him for me.
You play to win the game. Hello?
No, you roll up and you roll out because it's always a blast on a MyT Sports Podcast. So let's start talking. Let me stir this motherfucker. It's been a while. So let's start talking. Woo! Dropping bombs on you bitches. Back at it like a sports fanatic. MyT Sports. I forgot to do that one myself. I'm in a big mood. Like I said, man, I've been in a big mood. I've been having my big pod energy this whole entire year. You know, it's season 8. It's that infinite year. You know what I mean? It's a fish. It's an 8. It's an infinity sign. It's a probably the easiest thing that tattoo artists have ever had to draw in their lives, right? But let's go ahead and start the podcast. Like I said, we're going to roll up and we're going to roll out. So how can we roll out before we roll up? Hope you guys got your drinks ready. Hope you guys got your spliffs ready. It's time to get into it because, you know, I don't know if you guys know this, right? It's been a while since I had to tell you about this. But the MyT Sports Podcast, and not just MyT Sports Podcast, but that one almost burnt my dick. About to burn some calories with my dick. Let me stop. Oh, shit. Sorry. I'm not the only one that, not only do I have now songs in my head, I have random TikTok songs or these random real songs. Like, it really is messed up. But I tell you guys, right? But I remind you guys, you definitely want, listen, we're going to roll up, we're going to roll out here on the podcast because something that you guys may not have known, haven't heard in a while, right? Here on the MyT Sports Podcast, right? It wasn't just a school that we attended, right? It was a way of living, and it's our motto. And in the Nick Dog School of Medicine, that company motto or that school motto, that what they call it, your school's credo is
Smoke weed every day.
Thank you. That's a little delayed over there, but you know I'll take it for now. Let's go into the talk to sports. So I told you, we got a big show for you guys today. We got 3 hours to try to get all of this in, and we're gonna say if we can do this in 3 hours. You want like 3 hours? You gonna see if we can talk for 3. If we can get this in for 3 hours. Listen, this ain't a typical podcast. This is a one-man show. Army of one over here. Shout out to all my army brethren, sistrins, military brethren and sistrins as well. For you guys listening, I just had to take a quick army break. You know, in the army break, you're always getting smoked for something. So that it's a habit of mine. That's between the Nate Dogg School of Medicine and then being in the army and always getting smoked in the army and then coming from a Jamaican background, y'all brethren. I'm gonna not pick up the spliff. You see me? All right, let's get started, right? Let's get into our birthday party, folks. What is the birthday party, folks? The birthday party is us giving us a nice little shout out to everybody that had a birthday since the last time that we was on the air. Ironically, that's only 2 of the peoples. So, let's get this birthday party started off quickly. Let's get this party started off right so that we can go ahead and get into the rest of the sports for the night. Hey, yo, DJ MyT, go ahead and drop that beat for me if you can. That's the one. That came in hot, too, didn't it? Oh, let's get it. Yeah, because, yeah, it's your birthday. We said it's your birthday. It's your birthday. It's your birthday. It's your birthday. Because it's your birthday. We sing happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Yeah, let's get to the first birthday shout out that we got. We haven't been here for a while. We've been on the podcast since last Wednesday. And you would think, like, yo, I ain't seen you since last Wednesday. So that means you have to have a bunch of birthdays to give a shout out to. No, au contraire, mon frère. I really don't. There wasn't a lot of birthdays over this weekend. I guess there just ain't a lot of people smashing at the end of January, right? Right, maybe the beginning of January, right? New Year's, Christmas. But I guess I thought there would be more Halloween babies thinking that Halloween, you have New Year's, Christmas, everybody's over there getting their squeak, 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 squeak them on, right? And you would think that there would be more October babies, especially like around this weekend, right? The end of the year, but no, there's not. We only had 2 birthdays to celebrate this weekend, right? So let's give the first birthday shout out. I want to give a birthday shout out to my homegirl, right? Susan Lumali, right? You have another last name as well. You got multiple personalities or multiple Facebook identities, right? Can you say a person that has multiple Facebook pages? Is it okay to say they have multiple identities? Can we call them that? Not the ones that have like their regular page and their business page, right? That's business. That separates them. But the one that'd be like, it'd be Susan Lumali, and then it'd be like Susan Loren, and then Susan Lala, and then Susan Locomotive, right? So is it safe to say that they have multiple personalities? When you see somebody with 7 different Facebook pages, 8 different Twitter pages, 22 different Instagram pages, and I ain't talking about the money making ones. I ain't talking about like, oh, they had to make a separate one so they can shake their ass away from their family, right? No, not that one. We just talking about same old shit, different page. SSDP. Ooh, it's hot underneath these masks. Yo, how did I party underneath these things? You know what? I was drunk. And I was socializing my ass off. But more importantly, I was drunk. Right? So happy birthday to Susan, right? I want to say happy birthday to you, right? I also want to say happy birthday. We got a birthday shout out for today on Halloween of all things, right? We can say happy birthday to Eva, Van. Who? Eva. Van. I want to say happy birthday to you as well. So let's get the birthday shout. Let's get the birthday people in here, right? Let's get them all in here. Gather them all into one big room, right? Right. So to Susan and to Eva, we wish you happy birthday. Hope you party hard. Hope you enjoy everything. Hope you regret nothing. Since the weekend just passed and this happened to be a celebratory kind of weekend, I hope you got your weekend and birdies on and continue to stay MyT. Check it. Yeah, because it's your birthday. We said it's your birthday. It's your birthday. It's your birthday. It's your birthday. Because it's your birthday. We sing happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to all of you. Hope you guys continue to enjoy. Thank you, DJ MyT, for cutting that beat without me having to ask. Yo, today is Halloween. I don't know if you guys can tell, but today is Halloween. Right? So I'm hoping that while you guys are out there getting your candy on, right, that you got your AirPods in and you're over there, let me pop into the MyT Sports Podcast so I don't miss any of these sports. Of course, I got the game on. I got the game on in the background. So, fellas, I'm going to make sure I give you guys an update. But I'll give you guys a little play-by-play. Let's not call it a play-by-play. I don't have the written consent of the NFL for that one, right? But I give you guys a little update, right? Give you guys squeak out a couple of plays here and there for you guys. I don't know what the fuck is going on right now. Got the Browns taking on Cincinnati Bengals, but we always got a game on in the background. I should have put a basketball game on in the background, but listen. When it comes to New York sports right now, I'm a little down. This weekend is a complete 180 from how we felt last weekend. Oh shit! Somebody's trying to get drunk tonight. Listen, man, y'all can't be pulling me out on a Monday. Y'all know. Oh wait. Let's see what's going on here. Oh shit! I don't even know what's going on tonight. I got my squeezy, and then I got one of my homegirls hitting me up. But yo, my smoochie, not my squeezy, yeah, my squeezy, squeezy. She ain't tell me what's up though. Like, you know what I mean? How you gonna hit me up and then We even gonna talk about that. Let's get into our first topic of the day, which is our MyT topic of the day. And you know what our MyT topic is, right? It's a topic that we like to talk about above any other sports topic before we get into anything else, right? So let's get into what we like to call our MyT topic of the day. Right? And our MyT topic of the day is revolves around none other than that of Brittney Griner, folks. Yes, folks, Brittney Griner, if you guys are unfamiliar, is a WNBA athlete that has now officially been incarcerated in Russia, wrongfully detained as it's been legally titled. I don't know why I was showing a brain fart on that one. Legally titled by our president, right? That she is wrongfully detained in Russia. She's gonna be there for the next 9 years. Now, if you are unaware, Brittney Griner is not just a WNBA champion, but she is also an 8-time All-Star, a 2-time scoring champion, 8-time block leader, the 2-time peak performer, 3-time NBA first team, 3-time NBA second team, 2-time defensive player of the year, 3-time defensive first team, 4-time defensive second team, all rookie, AP player of the year, most outstanding player, 3-time Big 12 player of the year, 4-time defensive player of the year, NCAA champion, high school player of the year, and more. Shorter than Ball. She was legit. She's been legit. 3rd player in WNBA history to dunk a ball during a game. And now she's going to be spending the rest of this decade in Russia for an empty weed cartridge. And I know for the most part, right? I know for the most part, some of you are just uncompassionate fucks and can give and technically cannot give a fuck about any other decent human life out there. So I know some of you don't have any sympathy for her. I get that. Keep your thoughts to yourself. Actually, don't call up. Tell me why you have no sympathy for her. I want to hear what your simple logic is about why you're willing to just damn somebody in a whole nother country for something as simple as weed. And when you know if it was one of you or if it was you or one of your peoples that you would wish that everything was being done to try to get them out of that sticky icky situation. But Brittney Griner is going to be stuck over there for the next 9 years. Her most recent appeal has been denied. We hope that she continues to stay MyT as well, right? They've offered for her to coach the Russian national team. As you guys may be aware or unaware, this has been like one big political mess. Is that they've basically been trying to utilize her to leverage the release of one of their illegal arms dealers. And that's the only reason why once they found this on one of their American athletes that is as decorated as her, because they didn't just pick out anybody to go after. They wanted to make sure that they had somebody with the kind of resume that Brittney Griner had, so that when she is being incarcerated, that it could try to be felt with as much maximum impact as possible. But also not have the whole entire world go crazy. Meaning that you could kidnap a popular WNBA player, but you can't kidnap a popular NBA player. Like I said, we've been down this road before, right? Let this have been LeBron James, Kevin Durant. I can't say Kyrie Irving. Y'all would have left Kyrie Irving over there, right? And y'all wrong for that. But y'all would have straight up left my man Kyrie over there. But if this was Kyrie Irving or any one of these other individuals, right? Any one of these megastars, Zion Williamson at that, right? What's the boy's name in Portland? I don't know why I'm forgetting your name suddenly. Dame time, right? Bye-bye. Right? Right, when you're a superstar of that caliber, and those guys, and some of those guys haven't even won championships, right? Oh, we would have never ever stopped hearing about it. Not just here and there, like it's a niche product that is only enjoyed in certain circles. No, you would have heard about it every single. This would have been a world. Like I said, let this have been LeBron James or Kevin Durant or Giannis Antetokounmpo. It would have been a worldwide uproar. They picked the perfectly right superstar to kidnap. Big enough to draw attention, but not big enough to put the whole entire world in an uproar. Because that's what LeBron James and guys like Kevin Durant would have drawn, right? Be honest, would have drawn. They would have drawn the global uproar. Brittany Griner is just big enough that it's just a local uproar. And even locally, some people are willing to let her sit and suffer just because I don't like women's sports. Women shouldn't be on the basketball court anyway. Serves her right. You guys disgust me. Make me sick. So let's do what we always see here on the podcast, right? When we finish the Brittany Griner segment, our MyT segment of the day. Let's just hope that she gets home safe quickly, as is already a foregone conclusion. She's already been entrapped in Russia for over 8 months already. That's longer than the average soldier deploys, just to let you know. The soldiers deploy in 6-month increments. So we just hope, we just keep your thoughts and prayers, or whatever outlet you utilize for positive energy, keep it in that scope. And let's hope that she just gets home safely, right? And with as little mental and physical damage as possible, right? Cause that mental trauma is gonna be something serious. You know what? I hope more than like it's like the gossipy shit of it. Like I hope her girlfriend sticks it out, cause I wonder what her girlfriend's gonna do. Right? I wonder what her girlfriend's gonna do at the end. Like, is she gonna stick through this whole 9 years? Is she gonna be like 2 years in, 3 years in, like I love you, but like I gotta apply some chapstick to these lips. Like this motherfucker's looking like the Sierra over here. Like we gotta go on a chapstick. I had to go on a chapstick run. Like these lips are we're getting way too ashy, and I had to get these motherfuckers moistened. Like I wonder the conversations that they're having. I wonder how long her girlfriend's gonna hold out. It can already be assumed that when Brittany Griner returns to America, if she has to serve her whole entire 9 years, her professional career is over. It's a wrap. They may give her like a year or two in the WNBA as like a gimme year, like as a welcome back. Let's see if we could get you back at some of what you lost. But at that point in time, she's gonna be like 40 years old. And I'm sorry, like the guys that are still doing it after 20 years of balling, whether they've hit 40 or not, those guys are outliers. Those guys that are still highly productive, they're not in the norm. I did say that Brittany Griner has been a high-level athlete up until this point, but that's been a high-level athlete that's been able to eat, sleep, and train at least semi to her liking, or semi-conducively to her sport. That's not going to be happening anymore. This isn't like Mike Tyson being locked up where I could keep doing push-ups and sit-ups and stuff like that. Keep staying strong. And then you could throw me a couple of flop matches and I could just knock a few guys out. And you know what I mean? After a couple of months, this ain't the same. If she ain't bowling, she ain't bowling. So the WNBA may do some sweet shit, right? Like I could make a compassionate move and say, hey, let's sign you for a year, 2 there. But when Brittany Griner comes back, it's a wrap. She's done. Like her biggest thing may be that she'll be lucky to get involved back in the sport where somebody puts her on their coaching staff, or maybe one of these owners put her in a management position. But that's probably more likely she gets an assistant coaching position after this, if anything. And that'll be the way that the WNBA and her peers, right, tried to give back to her a little bit of what she lost, not just monetarily wise, but from the business and the sport that she loves, from her passion. It's gonna be interesting to see when, as much as this is a sad scenario, it's gonna be interesting to see when she gets out, what phase in her career that she's going to be in, and how the WNBA goes about positioning her in the WNBA once she returns. Because I'm going to assume by now that when Brittany Griner comes back, she's going to have if she wants it, I'm looking at like, you have a lifetime position here. And let's hope by the time that she gets out as well, right, that at some point in time that the Brittany Griner Act gets passed, that makes sure that WNBA, and I know that it's all about how much viewership they can get. I get it. So like I said, let's hope that they get to the point where they're able to be paid enough where they no longer have to go play for a Russian league and worry about being incarcerated because you're being set up as a political prisoner. What did you tell him? I told him I was in sanitation, Tony. I told him what you told me to tell. I told him I was in sanitation. Like, no, you idiot. I told you to tell him and do it as that. Oh my God. I hope you guys remember that. Bing lenga. Bing lenga. Bing lenga. Bing lenga. Thought I heard the door open. I thought, okay, I am hearing doors opening, but it's not the doors I'm thinking. So it's been officially day 256 days since Brittany Griner has been wrongfully incarcerated. So again, let's just keep her in your thoughts and prayers and hope that she returns home safely. Now, while we talk about Brittany Griner, right? And it's very sad what's going on with her. Can I tell you, I've had an incredible weekend. And it's feel like it's been one long weekend. Like the whole month of October just felt like one long run-on weekend. I think it started out with me finally catching up with this incredible young lady that I've been meaning to catch up with forever. Feels like forever. Right? Us having an amazing random night to an amazing scheduled night. The people that I've met in between, the connections, then last weekend is the art show and then in Art We Lust 3, and then after that the next day was Young Frankenstein, which was amazing as well. I told you about that. And then this weekend travel to Orlando and I go watch Unapologetic, right? Which I'm learning that sometimes plays are the names are slightly altered. Like based off how you have to. There's a lot of questions I have. There's a lot of questions I have. I'm noticing patterns, and I have added. I feel like it's something that I've known about in the background, but I just didn't quite realize until now. And I have a feeling that based off of certain plays when you're doing and what you're doing, you kind of have to take it, switch some things around, change the name, maybe for copyright issues or whatever it may be. But so the play that my cousin did, Roberta Emerson, right? She directed this play that was supposed to be Apologies to Lorraine Hansberry, right? U2, right? August Winslow and Wilson. And what she did, like her version, instead of it being Apologies to so and so, she did a version called Unapologetically Black. That's basically what it was. It's called Unapologetic, but it basically the what's the word I'm looking for here? Right, it had it's not crap. This is why sometimes you need to stop smoking. Right, the unsaid word, right, the the word, the phrase that went without saying is that it's unapologetically black or unapologetic black. And I'm gonna tell you, outside of watching Black Panther, right? This has been probably the blackest thing I've ever seen. And I mean, and obviously, you know, I mean, and in the most respectful way possible, right? This cousin was the blackest thing. Proud black, right? Like celebratory black, great fucking story black, right? Like blackest thing I've ever seen, and the just like how last week was, right? When I told you I went to In Art We Lust 3, that the moment you stepped in let's just call it arena. I mean, when you stepped inside a building, you felt a shift in the ambiance, a shift in the mood, right? That you can mood that was trying to be set immediately. That was the same thing. So cool, both of you ladies, right? Nikki Dyken, Dyken. I hope I'm saying your last. You're gonna have to whisper your last name in my ear one time, right? I mean, maybe a couple of times, so that I can remember it. But like shout out to both of you, right? Nikki Dyken and Roberta Emerson, that to being able to set the mood that they wanted and needed to be set before you even fully even got to the meat and potatoes of the event. Like there was an ambiance there that automatically drew you in. And I'm telling you, when my uncle just kind of loosely described this play to me without giving it away, I said to myself, this show feels like that meme, right? And I'm gonna tell you what meme it is. Right? It's a meme that says, right? It's even a meme or a reel or whatever it is. But it's a meme that goes, every time there's a black person having fun or minding their business, there's a white person in the background watching them. Right? That was the feel that this play gave me. By the description my uncle gave me, I should say. And no doubt, the very first track, when you came on, when they started the show, was stay the fuck out of black people business, stay the fuck out of black people business, stay the fuck out of black people business, black people business, black people business, stay the fuck out of black people business, stay the fuck out of black people business, stay the fuck out of black people business, black people business, black people business. Y'all could even see me dancing up a storm over here. Let me put that up for you guys. Stay the fuck out of black people business. Stay the fuck out of black people business. Stay the fuck out of black people business. Oh my god. And that's just how the show opened. And it set a mood in a make-believe alternative world setting because it was just a play. And it set the scenes into very particularly. And then you had your actors and your actresses, and they came out, right? I wrote their names down. Renetta Eastlick, who played Jules, Desiree Montez, who played Yoel, KP Powell, who played Lorenzo, Elena Walton, who played Alice, and for some reason I left out the fifth person. I think it was a stand-in. I didn't get the stand-in's name. My bad. This is twice now. I've been to a play, and I've seen the stand-in also take up a role. And in both times, you couldn't tell that this person hasn't been planning this whole entire time. Now, if you listened to the show earlier, I explained this something very specific from the ad-lib queen because the person that had to bring in their scene in Young Frankenstein, she was the ad-lib queen for real. Wait. I think I have her name. Have her name. Let me not just say the ad-lib queen. I think if I'm not mistaken, her name is Sarah Rayburn. I think that's her face. She was the ad-lib queen, and oh my goodness, like yeah. So I've seen them now twice, right? The person that wasn't supposed to have the role, right, come and fill in, and the job that they've done both times have been incredible. So definitely big on shout outs to them. And guys, listen, I don't know when's the next time that you'll ever get a chance to see Young Frankenstein or Unapologetic, but I'm gonna tell you this for sure. If you're in the Orlando area, or if you're in the West Palm, Broward, Dade, Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, in Orlando, you want next time you're in that area, because it's right there. It's right there in like the Orlando Performing Arts, right? That's right down the block from Disney. You go check out the next show that Roberta Emerson is doing. It's a complete hit every single time. Listen, I'll be going for her next year. This is not the second show I've seen for her. Right? Thank you for the invitation both times. And if you're in the Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach area, shit, if you're in the Fort Pierce area, listen, if you're in the Fort Myers area, Naples area, it's worth you bringing your ass over here. And if Nikki Dyken is involved in the show, directing, choreographing, acting, you're gonna want to see that too, because that's gonna be a professional show. And either way, whether it's by Nikki or Roberta, you're not going to be disappointed. This is pure blackness. I'm not gonna lie. I'll say it again. This is pure blackness. This show was me personally. This show was missing nothing. This show was missing nothing to the average person, to the above average person. The show was missing nothing. To this weirdo over here that thinks in like 8 different cloud streams, the only thing missing from this show was that one song from CB4. I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, because I'm bliggity black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blackity black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm bliggity black, and I'm black, y'all, because I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, and I'm black, and I'm black. That was the only thing missing. Other than that, the show was perfect. Show was perfect. Actors, actresses, choreography, director, everything. Like, I'm talking about like the musical, the score of the show was great. The songs that went in between, that went on between each scene, during the scene. Oh my, like, enjoy, and hands down enjoyable. Like, I'm telling you, if I had panties, I would have thrown them on the stage. I'm telling you that right now. Both times, both shows. If I wore panties and I had on a sundress, it would chucking them. It was those kind of shows. It was those kind of shows, all right. And I'm really glad that both individuals, Nikki and Roberta, both invited me to come see their creations and their artwork. It was masterful. Thank you guys. Thank you, ladies. Appreciate you. And I know I'm talking about them highly and they're like, yeah, one is family, and the other one is about to be my like the future Mrs. T. I'm going way too fast. Slow down. See, now that means come again. Whoa, slow down. Just saying, I put nothing without effort. Full blown effort. Let's see. So what's going on here? What's going on here? I am getting messages. Okay, wait. I'm dressed. My homegirls are coming over, so feel free to come. Oh, okay. Like somebody's having like a mini Halloween party? Is that what's happening over there? Okay. But I still didn't get my response. If you're good though, I ain't going nowhere until I get that okay. Like, how am I supposed to go out and have fun knowing that somebody could be in distress? Let's switch off of one form of blackness to a whole another form of blackness, right? And I had to take a deep one for that one because you guys have no clue. I'm still not sure if he's the reason why I got banned in Russia last Wednesday. But if he is, it's okay, Russia. You can ban me. I'm not scared of you. Who the fuck you think you fucking with? Like Harvey Vett over here. I don't give 2 shits. I'll talk reckless all day. But there was one Kanye West. Or, I'm sorry, my apologies. Billionaire Ye. Let's make sure that we address him properly by his title. Billionaire, musical genius, rapper, producer, Ye. Clothing designer, father, Ye. And Kanye West very recently went on Drink Champs. And he expressed some very deep personal thoughts of his on basically on how he wished that him and his community functioned more like the Jewish community, on how they stick together. And he basically ultimately said he was jealous of them. Somewhere along the lines, it came out as if Kanye was spewing anti-Semitism. We're going to address that in a second. So once it was labeled that Kanye was spewing anti-Semitic, sorry, game. When it came out that Kanye was spewing, right, anti-Semitic rhetoric, shortly after, you started seeing a domino effect, right? Started happening is that all of the sponsors, right, all of these companies that were tied in with Ye started dropping Ye. Now, the first one was Adidas. Now, on the surface, everybody was like, you know what? While we're like, oh, some people say, oh, Kanye, you're in trouble now. Your sponsors are trying to drop you. There was a good handful. It was like, well, you're doing exactly what he wanted. He's been trying to get out of Adidas. He went into Adidas meetings playing porno on his phone. So I'm like, this is how you guys are fucking me. And nobody gets pussy in Adidas. So say, look it up. Right? So there was a widespread set of individuals that thought, okay, you know what? And don't forget that the phone lines are open if you guys would like to call in. Or if you want to use Instagram to call in, or you want to use Podbean to call in, the phone lines are open. Oh yeah, folks, we take phone calls. We take your phone calls on Instagram as well. And don't forget, you can put your comments wherever you're listening at as well. If you're watching, whether that's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Right? Appreciate you listening. Don't forget to like, share, and follow. Maybe you hear that little bing bong every time that we go on. Keep the MyT podcast going strong. So it starts coming out that okay, Adidas is going to be the first one to drop them, but then a lot of this look at this as a strategic move. There's a set of individuals looked at this as a strategic move so that he can get out of a deal with a company that was not respecting his creativeness, that was taking his ideas, flipping it, changing it, and going behind his back, putting out different colors, basically putting out things without his approval. Who knows exactly how his contract is written? But he got to a point where he said, you know what, let's redo this contract. Or let's redo business, period. But we're not doing business properly together. They wouldn't renegotiate at the time. So he found a way out of his contract. That's honestly the way I see that. Now, I don't know if I've mentioned this to you before, right? And this is probably why I'm also so hard on these individuals. In very weird ways, I can understand Antonio Brown. I can understand Kanye. I can understand Kyrie. There was a point in time in the army, I was probably a version of those guys. With how I bucked against authority. How I naturally went against what my higher ups just tried to blindly force down my brain. Right? So I can understand sometimes natural buckers of the system, the habitual line steppers. Message. We'll be doing that for the next year. As I already have next year's Halloween costume ready. I couldn't do one this year. Like these are fillings. These are something that you wear like to the office real quick, just so you don't have to wear your real costume at night. You know what I mean? This is something that you just wear just to pop up real quick. It's something that you keep in the car. So somebody's like, hey yo, actually I'm over exaggerating because I wish it was something I kept in the car. So that when somebody hits you up and be like, hey yo, I got a little Halloween costume, masquerade little party going on. All you need is a mask. Pull up. You're like, say less. I'm up. You know what I mean? So listen, man, I don't have to find out what my smoochie is doing for real. Tripping. I ain't going nowhere until I get that word. I love my homegirl, right? And I love to go chill with my homegirl. But there's priorities. Shit. Like, I'm trying to build a foundation here. Y'all wildin'. Back to Ye, right? Back to the guy that gets canceled by everybody. And listen, he could even get my show canceled. Who knows, right? Maybe I get banned again in Russia. Who knows? Fuck him. Right? What's that old Dave Chappelle puppet Muppet thing? I said fuck it. Fuck him. Right? So Kanye gets out of his Adidas deal. And some look at it as a bad domino. Some look at it as a step to him trying to achieve a level of freedom away from Adidas that he couldn't accomplish just by talking and trying to negotiate properly. Right? He had to go DEFCON 3, right? Where DEFCON 3, I'm trying to remember. I thought they changed the verbiage of it, of these threats, right? Because they didn't want it to sound so like it was a deadly thing. But as you guys know, most threat comms, right? Threat levels, let's put it that way, are usually like defensive measures that are being taken first. And that's all he said is he's going to defend his home. But it was translated as if he was going to go scorched earth because you guys have deemed Kanye as crazy. Now, let's talk about him going crazy or him going crazy. We all know that Kanye suffers from bipolarism. That's been very well documented. He says it, right? He put it in his rap. That's his superpower. Ow! That's my superpower. We love you for it. If somebody that is generally can have a split personality or complete mood swing, I gotta get some bipolar people on this podcast, but I refuse to ask my ex for an interview. Thank you. See, my phone already knew where I was going. You the shit. I'm gonna have to get some bipolar people. Maybe ask them some questions, maybe to try to poke around and see if I can try to figure out what's going on with Kanye. But ultimately, if you think somebody is mentally ill, or if you really thought somebody was crazy, why constantly put a microphone in front of their face? Is it because you want to hear all the crazy shit that a crazy person has to say? Or you want to keep utilizing it so that you can diminish, right, and discredit everything that they've ever done, everything that they're doing, everything that they will do? These are questions, serious questions that I have, right? But it's okay. I don't mind Kanye losing spots, as I'm pretty sure Kanye, of course, it's not my money, right? But I don't mind billionaire Ye losing sponsors, because if you know the history of Ye, then you know Ye is going to end up back with a Ye clothing line, and you guys are going to eat that up. I hope it becomes a publicly traded company so I can invest into it, to be honest with you. Because he was the hardest pushing thing on Adidas. I didn't even know. To be honest with you, I'm going to tell you this whole entire time, until this thing happened this year, I did not know Kanye, I did not know the Ye's was Adidas brand. This whole entire time, I thought Kanye did some independent shit. I thought this whole time Ye had already made his own independent shoe label. And you ass counts was out there paying $500 for a pair of Yeezys. Yeezys. Seriously. And so, and I'm guarantee you, and maybe it's me. Maybe it's me, right? Because I figured there's a bunch of people that follow Kanye a whole lot closer, right? Then I stopped doing that somewhere in my mid to late 20s, following rappers and entertainer artists this close. Now I do that with sports athletes. You know, I switch the energy. You know, fuck that, walk in. But I wasn't trying to take shots at the people that do. I'm just saying that I don't anymore. My energy shifted elsewhere. Different form of celebrityism, right? Like, who knew that all our hip hop celebrities would still be in the limelight this long? Like, goddamn, I didn't see that shit coming. I would have made the first fucking hip hop podcast. Not tripping. So they, like I said, the headlines that are put out is that Ye is spewing anti-Semitic rhetoric. And with this being said, he has obviously a Donde sports camp, basketball camp. He has a Donde af, athletic agency, right? Sports agency. And two, I don't know if these are the only two, but the two most recognizable names, Jaylen Brown and Aaron Donald, they dropped Kanye. Now, I already got my answer. But when this first happened, I was curious. Was them dropping from Donda, was this because Ye clashed, billionaire Ye clashed with their beliefs? Or was this a PR move? Were they pressured by their PR people to drop Kanye before they receive spillage on themselves? Somehow. Oh, look, you're still this is crazy with this guy. How can you still have this guy as your agency with him spitting anti-Semitic? Which we'll get down to that road a little bit in just a minute. The answer is they got pressured. This wasn't Aaron. Well, I can't speak for Aaron Donald, but I can't speak for Jaylen Brown. He's already come out and left us some fine words. This was. Hold on a second. Bear with me, everybody else. I had to test something out. Okay. I'm not getting a feed somewhere. I had to go bang on the mic real quick. My apologies to everybody else that may have heard that. I realize I have to go clean up the feed. So, the answer is that Jaylen Brown was pressured. He was basically told by his handlers, let's call them exactly what they are, that you need to go ahead and separate yourself. And so it looks like before he received any kind of negative backlash from what is going on with Kanye. I find this weird. See? I find this weird that they're trying to cancel Kanye. The reason why I find this weird because I've listened to this interview now probably a dozen times. And I'm still curious of where the anti-Semitic rhetoric was at. Now, if this is chopped into pieces and a part of it is listened out of context, I can see how somebody may think that. I can see if this is listened to and if this is chopped up and listened to out of context, how an uneducated person may think that this was something negative towards Jewish people and drew them to any kind of action or any kind of arms. If somebody got that from this, then they were just looking for the most minuscule spark, and they also didn't listen. And if they did listen, they don't know how to comprehend. I listened to this a couple times, and one of the major things, right, that started popping in my head is Kanye's beef, right, with Adidas. How is this any different than Michael Jackson's beef? Or Prince's beef? Or Jay-Z's beef with their record labels? We about to get deeper than you guys even were prepared for. I'm telling you this right now. I find it, like I said, I find it odd that they're trying to cancel, if you can say, disassociate themselves with Kanye is the real word, right? We say cancel. That you find now advertisers and companies disassociating themselves from Kanye over what is believed hate speech. Kanye went into Adidas wanting to own his, basically wanted more ownership into the product that he makes. That's no different than Prince wanted to own his masters. Jay-Z wanted to make sure he has his masters. Michael Jackson making sure they have the right to his masters. Yet we have seen Prince get killed for his masters, for the ownership of his stuff, of his music. We've seen Prince get killed over it. We've heard artists for years talk about how they can't make the music that they want to make because the people that run the labels tell them that they have to put out a certain type of music. They can't be introspective or lovey-dovey. And listen, sometimes people have to take themselves out of their own worlds, right? And even in your own worlds, there's also multiple factors in your world. You hear this complaint from a lot of black rappers, right? And black R&B artists. But if you pay attention, it's also the same complaint that Pink had back in the day. Oh. So, if there's a group of record labels that will not allow you to say a certain thing or put out music the way that you want to put out, or put out your message the way that you want to put out, then are they not controlling, let's say, what you hear? Oh, interesting. So in Kanye's world, right? We've heard this complaint a couple of times. In Kanye's world, not just from Kanye. We've heard this now from, I just told you, we heard this from Pink. We've heard this from Jay-Z. We've heard this from Prince. We've heard this from Michael Jackson. We've heard this from unknown rapper on Jay-Z's what album was that where he was going on tour and he also did a video for it, right? We heard this from unknown rapper number 5 on that video, right? We've also heard the same thing from Nick Cannon and Ice Cube. 2 other individuals they've tried to cancel. Let's hurry up and bring all lines in here so that you guys don't miss an opportunity if you guys are trying to call in. I don't have the podbean call-in line up yet. Your body speaks to me. Sorry. I don't know why. Whoever sings that song just sounds like Tony Braxton to me. They really do. This game looks like a shit show. It's 8-0. Like 2 minutes left to go in the first half. Somebody sitting on the ground injured, holding their something, thriving in not joy. Let me stop talking like that. Okay, we got Podbean up now. We got Podbean up again. Perfect. All right, let's continue. So this is the same thing. Like how I did that, right? Got right back. So this is the same thing that they also tried to cancel Nick Cannon and Ice Cube over. Let's step into Kanye's world. Because I just gave you a minuscule history lesson of the multitudes of artists in music and entertainment that have complained now about the CEOs that run these industries, of how they've tried to limit their voice, their music, their song. Because let's take it. Let's go for let's go further in here before I give you the statement that I want to give you. Ask you the question that I want to ask you. In Kanye's world, is the world of music, entertainment, and television, right? Music, TV, radio. If you go ask, or if you go research yourself, who took up the business of entertainment when entertainment was becoming a business, it's no secret that it's Jewish people. The Jewish people that were here in America. There's no secret that that's what they did. And let me back you up here. To say that someone is saying anti-Semitic rhetoric when we're also Semitic people, it's kind of odd to me. Now, let's back that up, because go look up what Semitic is, and you'll see that what you generally think of as Semitic is like how you I'm gonna tell you what you have right now. When you think of Semitic, you think of just generally American Jewish people. The easier, more European Jews. But let's call it American Jewish people. But that's the general image that pops into your head. It's like when you need a bandage, you ask for a Band-Aid. It's like when you need to search something, you tell somebody to go Google it. That's and then you have to kind of remind yourself, oh yeah, that's right. It isn't a Band-Aid. They're all bandages and everybody can make bandages. Oh, it isn't just Google. You can search on different kind of search engines. There's more. This isn't just the American Jewish, the American Semitics. There's Egyptian Semitic, African Semitic. Egyptian and African. I'm saying the same shit twice, right? You understand? Like there's a broad reach of what's considered Semitic. Go look it up. I should have pulled that shit up for you guys. I shouldn't even have you do homework. So back to Kanye's world. There's no secret that Jewish people very much took their business into entertainment. We know that. Okay. So that means that for the most part, right, the people that run television, radio, and TV, radio, and music, right? It's very much safe to say that they're Jewish people, the majority. Which means that if you're controlling TV, radio, and music, you are controlling what people listen to, what people watch, and kind of how they entertain themselves generally. So they control those factors. That's Kanye's world. But that's what Kanye basically has been saying. That's what Ice Cube has been saying. That's what Nick Cannon has been saying. Without pointing out the specific group of individuals that run the industry, that's what Michael Jackson was saying. That's what Prince was saying. That's what Pink was saying. We talk about it almost every other day on the podcast, right? Or in sports, that the majority of NFL owners are white. It's what they are. And they run the NFL. The majority of people that run music, television, and radio are Jewish. That's what they are. Which also loosely translates to they control what you hear and what you see. But now, I said loosely, but now when you have entertainers saying that they can't put out certain things because it's not what they think should be heard into the culture or onto the airways or onto television, but yet past certain things, then yes, they are controlling the message that's heard, which means let's take it all the way back in the black community. What that means is that when we have uplifting artists, right, like Kanye West, like Mos Def, like Common, those guys don't get advertised. You want the guys that are talking about the drugs, the shooting, the killings, and the rapists. When you get an artist that comes in there and he wants to talk some introspective shit, you come out there, you tell him to talk about money, cash, hoes. Because that's what message that you want put out there. Just saying. Kanye still sound crazy? Or you starting to understand? Now, granted, Kanye isn't going out there and tying in every single web so that he can spoon food every single form of masses out there so that they can comprehend and understand what he has been trying to say. But if you honestly just take a step back and not try to be polarized by the fact that it is Kanye, then you'll be able to pull and listen that this isn't just been something that Kanye's been saying, but multiple artists through multiple eras have been saying the same exact thing, because these guys didn't magically start going crazy or magically start committing suicide or magically lose their minds. No, something brought this to this point. Adam Levine, which I think is just Kanye suddenly. See, when Nick Cannon and Ice Cube try to point out the same exact thing, you guys tried to cancel them too. Now look at them, both of them right back on television doing the same exact thing, because where's the lie? See, there's no lie there. There's no bullying of anybody. He's pointing out what's going on in his industry. And that industry is his world. These are the people he has to deal with on a regular basis to get anything done. That's his world. Ironically, what happens in Kanye world also leaks into our world, because he is dealing with the people that control what we listen to and what we hear, what we watch, what we see, what we feel, what we entertain with, what our kids end up repeating on the local radios. Just saying. So all of y'all are wondering why Nicki Minaj is getting away with all this puss and popping airplay and you quite don't understand or don't like it. Don't go to the artist. Go to the people that allow the artist to put out that message, or wants the artist to put out that specific message when they try to put out something otherwise. See, sometimes y'all like to start at the bottom where the shit has already hit the ground and splattered all over the place, like shit don't roll downhill. Just because you know what happens, your arms are too short to box with guys, and too often you guys are way too comfortable just picking from the low-hanging fruit. But picking that low-hanging fruit, if you're a biblical person, isn't that what got us here with Adam and Eve? I'm just saying. Listen, I could preach with you guys all day, but that's not what we're here for. I'm not here for a long time, but we definitely could be here for a good time. We just passed the 1 hour mark, and oh man, we're gonna continue to talk some Kanye, but I want to make sure that you guys know that hard times. This is one of the few times that you're gonna be wishing for hard times, and hope that hard times are here again. What am I talking about, folks? We're talking about Blue Chew. What is Blue Chew? Blue Chew just happens to be a little blue pill that can get you back and through. All you gotta do is open up a pack and head straight to the sack. Just a few chews before you do. Blue Chew has the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so this is one opportunity that you just can't miss. For a very low cost, you can beat it up like a boss, and she's gonna love how you come through like a champ, a heavyweight champ, when you Blue Chew in advance. So if you use my promo code of NCJS, that's November, HCJS, Hotel Charlie Juliet Sierra, you can get your first order of Blue Chew for free. That code again, HCJS, Hotel Charlie Juliet Sierra. Get your first order of Blue Chew for free. Blue Chew really only has 2 instructions. Let's see here. Chew it and do it. That's it, people. Listen, so it was a blast with the Mighty Sports Podcast. Well, you make sure that you give her that blast with Blue Chew. And as you guys know, on Wednesday's show, when we're live at Sharky's, let's just say Blue Chew may make it in there as a trivia prize. I gotta ask some more trivia questions. This trivia segment is getting out of hand. You guys have to just have to start tipping for that trivia segment too. You know, these prizes cost money. Alrighty. Speaking of money. So, the complaint that Kanye has, this isn't the first time that we've heard this, right? We've heard it from multiple artists throughout multiple eras. Now, what happens, and we know this for a long time, right? That what generally happens here is that with anything, is that complaints are made, but generally you don't hear the complaints until they continue to get louder and more outlandish. That's when people start to pay attention. It's then. It's when the person that has been bullied finally loses it. That's when everybody draws the uproar. We see it in sports. It's usually not the person that caused the initial contact. It's the person that retaliates that gets hit with the penalty. Yeah. Change number 2. Let's go. No, I'm fogging up in here. Like, Kanye, I am your follower. Let me stop before I hyperventilate for real. How the fuck am I supposed to smoke with this shit on? Alright, okay. So, crazy? Is he maybe off of his meds for being bipolar? Yes. Is Kanye crazy with what he is saying or what he is pointing out about what's going on in his industry? No. I can't read my notes. Right? Actually, I think I'm pretty much. I think I've mentioned everything I wanted to my notes. Let's just get into the freestyle portion of this, right? You guys have heard me talk about this very loosely. Kanye's problem that he's having with Adidas, and everybody else that may be disassociated himself with. They may be disassociating themselves with Kanye. Let's see if I can do this like this. Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna do this like this. This is a whole lot better. At least I can breathe, and I can do this now. I'm gonna fuck around and burn this down. Right? Let's see. Even better. Even better. Yeah, I like this like this. I like this like this. So, you even heard me talk about this very loosely, right? This issue that Kanye has, or this realization that Kanye has. I've told you guys now for a couple of years about investing into the stock LVMH. And what I told you that this stock was called Louis Vuitton, Moet, and Hennessy. Listen to what I'm saying to you. One stock is Louis Vuitton, Moet, and the Anything's Possible. Ooh. Right? When I realized, me as a weird ass thinker, I told you, right? Like, sometimes my brain goes into different, like it jumps into different storm clouds after hearing something. And it wasn't just, hey, this is something I needed to invest in once I heard it was Louis Vuitton, Moet, and Hennessy. But I came to a realization. It's almost like I had an epiphany. And I very quickly understood the maneuvering of some of mine and your favorite artists. But at the same time, while I understood the maneuvering of them, I kind of became offended and pissed off. Why? Because I realized we've been targeted. We who? People that like rap. Let's just keep it as simple as that. Fuck this. Let's go here. Yeah, that's a whole lot better. Wait, I know what you're thinking. Like, wait, hold on. How many goddamn masks do you have? 1, 2, 3. The world will never know. Wondering how many masks I would wear if I had a podcast on Halloween? Guess you're gonna find out now. So I got offended when I first heard this, because I realized we were targeted. Who were we targeted by? The makers of Louis Vuitton, Moet, and Hennessy. Who did they target us through? Our favorite rappers. How? Through their music. It made me realize every time, now maybe not every time, after a certain amount of time, right? Maybe not on their first album, but maybe by that second album, maybe depending on how, see, I don't know how popularity works now. You could drop a couple of songs, become popular enough, and then by your first album, you have this deal. And this deals with Louis Vuitton, Moet, and Hennessy. And now you have to mention Louis Vuitton, Moet, and Hennessy a couple of times in your raps. Now think about this. Think about growing up. How many times you've heard about popping bottles of Moet, wearing Louis Vuitton, Louis V, Louis V, LV, Green Stripe. No, maybe that's Gucci. But don't put Gucci out of it either. Think how many times they've mentioned Hennessy in their raps. That's how many times you were targeted by advertiser Louis Vuitton and Hennessy to drink their products, to wear their clothing, to casually drink their Henny when going to the club, pop their bottles every time you celebrate. When you celebrate, you want to look fly. What are you going to wear? That Louis V? So that Hennessy that you like now, you ain't different. You ain't unique. You ain't thugging it. You ain't keeping it street. You ain't keeping it culture. You're a product of your rapper's of well-placed advertisement. But wait, there's more. Now think about all of your favorite rappers that eventually started their own clothing labels. Because they realized, why am I pushing your clothing when, because of my popularity, you're trying to help me push your clothes? Let me push my own clothes. Think about how many of your rappers, how many of your favorite rappers and R&B artists had their own cognac. Let's just start cognac. Because they realized, why am I going to push your Hennessy when I can make my own Luda Yak? I could make my own Remy Martin. I could make my own. Think about how many of your artists realize that cognac is kind of a niche market and more people drink vodka around the world, and they eventually came up with their own vodka. Think about it. You've been targeted. We've been targeted. Louis Vuitton, Moet, Hennessy. It's no coincidence that these are three of the probably the most talked about products in rap. So what's the difference between Kanye now realizing with Adidas that I no longer want to be under you if you're not going to be doing things that how I want them done, versus Puff Daddy, versus Nicki Minaj versus Remy Martin versus Jay-Z versus Nas versus Little Chris? What's the difference? Who else has a couple? The Rock? What's the difference? Instead of advertising your shit, I'll make it my own because you're just using my popularity to push your shit. And if you ain't gonna do it the way that I want to do it, I'm gonna do it my goddamn self the way I want. What's the difference? But when Kanye points out who the people are who he's constantly dealing with, the people that are giving him the nose, the people that are trying to tell him to change his message, the people that are altering his message, his brand, his likeness, when he points that out and points out specifically who those individuals are in his world, it's anti-Semitism? So pay attention. We've heard this before. What Kanye's complaining about. So let's not sit here and act like Kanye is crazy when we know. See, to sit back and call Kanye crazy for what he's pointing out with the entertainment industry is like sitting back and calling all those black people crazy when they tell you that police brutality was a thing, police harassment was a thing. Like, you guys over exaggerating. That's what you're doing to Kanye. You over exaggerate. These guys over exaggerate. It's not really that bad. But we know about it. How did all these people have the same excuse, have the same issue, from actors to actresses to musicians? How's it they all have the same problem? They all getting over the same hurdle, trying to push what their message is to our culture when they are us, and the people that are telling them what to say and what to do and how to act for our culture don't look like us. The fuck? How can they relate? I'm just saying. We're talking about advertising and influencing here, right? Specifically. Because let's understand that who they are utilizing these individuals to market to. Don't draw anything deeper than what I'm saying out of it. We're talking about marketing demographics. So where's Kanye crazy at? Where's the anti-Semitic statement that Kanye said? Where's the bashing that he did? He pointed out an issue in his work industry. If this is a regular Amazon employee, actually, Amazon employees had an issue with Amazon and they were on strike because they didn't like what was going on. And they pointed out a bunch of individuals that was fucking up in their higher ups. But I wonder if he wasn't on to something, why would they now feel pressure to try to cancel him for something that isn't true? Because see, in all instances, the moment that they try to cancel Ice Cube, the moment they try to cancel Kanye, the moment that they try to cancel Nick Cannon, we all kind of forget the message that they were trying to really say. They're in a fucked up industry, and the people that run their industry isn't really looking out for any of them. Let's back it up again. Let's go back to music. Let's see how well we all used to follow music back in the day. You remember how most artists back in the day used to say, like, man, even kind of today these days, it took me like my third album to buy my mama a house. You remember this? I know I remember this a lot from a lot of artists. I didn't make any money to my third album. Remember this? Because we've learned that the industry, music industry, is one of those contracts, some of the most fucked up contracts in the world. There's such a bad one-sided loan. It's worse than those balloon loans they were giving people that were underqualified back in those days. That almost had the housing market collapsing. Those are the kind of loans that they're giving 18-year-old kids, 15-year-old kids, sometimes 22-year-old young adults, because they're chasing this dream so bad. They put them in such a hole that it takes them 3 albums to get out. 3 multi-time platinum albums, depending on who you were. We heard Shaq say that the label that he was with tried to charge him for studio time in his contract. Millions of dollars for studio time when he had the studio in his house. Because they'll try to rob you at any chance they get. And that's the thing about it, right? Things that are sometimes joked about and thrown around loosely, right, as the butt of jokes. We sometimes forget that there's a lot of realness to it. There's something real about the sleazeball Hollywood exec. Remember, that is a full-blown title that we know them as. Sleazeball Hollywood executive. So I can't shorten it and say it right. They've been out here robbing people. We know this. We've heard even them say, you want to get into a real money business? Get into the music industry. Those one-sided loans that they usually give out, man, it's a cash cow for you. Yeah, we're acting like Kanye is crazy suddenly. When we've known this about the Hollywood executives forever. It's like knowing that these Hollywood executives were taking advantage of females and having them lewd acts. And then now when they suddenly all started their Me Too, and we're like, oh my God, this was really happening? We just thought this was a joke. You really thought they were all joking about it? You thought they were all joking about being harassed by these execs, right? You have to try to do sexual favors to get a position. You thought all those black people were joking about police brutality. You think all of these entertainers are joking about being robbed by these sleazy Hollywood execs. But anytime they try to speak up about them, they get canceled because they're the ones that's running it. And when they point out them specifically for who they are, they go even harder on canceling them. Pay attention. There's not this much backlash over nothing. These guys ain't these other companies aren't getting phone calls from nobodies. This isn't Roy Cohen down the street. You know what I mean? Or Roy or Shalimar Rothenberg down the street calling up and be like, man, if you guys keep messing, Kanye, I don't know if I'm gonna. No. These are the guys that control what we see, what we hear, what we watch, what we listen to. Television, music, and radio. I'm missing one again. And sometimes even fashion. That's the reason why you see all of them have tried so much for ownership, for representation. Because they realized at the highest level, the people that were making the decisions didn't represent us. They represented us as what they thought was their own version of the caricature of us. See? It's what they think we look like, what they think we dress like, what they think we talk like, what they think we sound like. We're a caricature for them. That's the reason why when all of these artists, when you call them woke or whatever, they broke into them, they realized, I need to represent for my culture, because the people that are trying to force their image on us isn't us. They have a caricature of us, of what they want us to look like, who they believe us to be. Regardless of what you are, you're a caricature with them. They want you to be this thing and sell this thing. Yet Kanye's crazy for pointing out the fucked up things in his job. Kanye's crazy. When you point out the things for your job that's fucked up in your job, you're heroic. You're a whistleblower. You're protected by the United States government under law. Kanye does it and he's crazy. How come the whistleblower act isn't portraying the Kanye right now? I'm just saying. How often are you in your fucked up work environment and be like, man, I can't go put up with this shit anymore. But instead you just quit and go find new money elsewhere. That's because they don't own anything for you to have to go fight to take back. If Kanye could have just left, grabbed his shoes, grabbed his little plant on top of his desk, grab his picture frame and leave and go about his fucking business, I guarantee you he would have done that. But they wouldn't let him do that. So they did what you would have done. Oh, I'm gonna blow this motherfucker up. I'm gonna act the goddamn fool. Ain't that what you say? Come on. Think about your inner voice when you talk to yourself like you a big shot. Like you actually got huevos. How do you say that how you're going to act? But you can't act that way because you can't afford the consequences. But what if you could? You probably acted like Kanye, wouldn't you? But yet Kanye's crazy. Like I said, I understand them sometimes. In the army, I kind of was Kanye. I kind of was Kyrie. I kind of was Antonio Brown. You ain't just gonna feed me shit and tell me it's Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I've had Cinnamon Toast Crunch. That shit is delicious. Yeah, I call Kanye crazy. Who's the crazy one? If y'all think I'm the crazy one after all that, fine. I'll be crazy along with Kanye. But seriously, now that hopefully I've broken down to you a couple of factors. Who's the crazy one? Is Kanye really that crazy, or is Kanye a man in a bad contractual situation that he's trying to get out and they won't let him out? But I also understand some of you individuals are probably the same person that doesn't like this happening in the NBA, doesn't like to see this happen in the NFL. I like to see this happen. Those guys, they signed the contract. You play your goddamn contract. All the rest of us, we can't just do. No, you can't afford to do X, Y, Z. See, that's the difference. A lot of the times when you compare yourself to these people, and you say, "Oh, I couldn't just blah, 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 blah." No, you can, but you can't afford to. You can. We don't have the balls to. There's a difference. You either can't or you won't. They just do. It's a different mentality. It's a different mindset. It's a different ladder in life. That's all that is. But now when you call him crazy for perfectly logical shit, you become a word that I generally don't even throw around very often. But you're a hater. Actually, my fault. More importantly, you probably just needed to help. I'm being facetious when I call you a hater. Right, but you probably just need the opportunity just to help it be brought down into probably the lowest common denominator, so that you could probably start to tie in a couple of the strings that made sense. Because up until this point, his actions and what he's been saying probably hasn't been able to make sense. Some of you probably don't even care, but I care when I see one of the black billionaires out there about trying to how they're trying to ruin his life. And still allowing that plastic doll to kidnap his kids, and yet everybody look at him like he's the fucked up individual. When a mom can use her daughter to spark their whole entire plastic lifestyle that all of you buy into. Yeah, you plastic bitches don't even look fine. I'm telling you this right now. You really don't. Like, you look weird. You look like a bunch of weirdos. I'm not gonna lie. Lowercase p's, uppercase p's. Thigh meat don't match your ass meat. You look weird. Like the only time that your ass looks okay is sometimes when you bend over. Like, and even then, it looks just weird. You look like a oompa loompa. You look like a misshaped troll. Like, to be honest with you, stop it, ladies. Really. Like get the tits done. Like, so like I don't even know what to do anymore. Like let's stop it. Can we just go back to seeing that shit wiggle and fold? You know. But Kanye is the one that's crazy. People keep trying to date Kylie Jenner and trying to elope with her like they don't remember the squashed nose, flat-faced, no-lip freak that she used to look like. But yet Kanye's the one that's crazy. Oh, Dios míos. Ay, bendito, ay, bendito, ay, bendito. Tu madre Jesús, tu maricón, I swear. Oh, man. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. So Kanye, it's okay. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna end up happening. Like what happened with Ice Cube. Like what happened with Kanye. I mean, with Nick Cannon. All of these individuals are going to drop Kanye. And Kanye's going to drop all of is going to come back and redrop all of these things independently. And then his net worth is going to double. Because it's going to be like Dave Chappelle coming back. Another reference for you. Bad boys. What you gonna do? As I speak of, oh, not Sharon Asborn. I was gonna say, as I speak of one of the plastic fucks, I thought that was the mother. But that's Sharon. I'm just glad. Whatever. When he drops, it's gonna be like Dave Chappelle coming back. People are gonna be feeling for it so much that you're gonna you're gonna overbuy, he's gonna oversaturate it, and you're gonna overpay. Probably not gonna oversaturate, he's gonna undersaturate, you're gonna overpay. Next thing you know, we're talking about Donde shoes and Donde clothing and Donde athletics and Donde watches, and you're gonna buy them all. I just want to get on Donde Sports Radio. Hey, yo, Kanye, holla at your boy. Somebody tag Kanye. Somebody that knows somebody tag Kanye. Holla at your boy. I want to be on Donde Sports Radio. I want to be your first Donde Sports podcaster. Like, don't let, like, listen, they I got that Beyonce song in my head, but I can't, they can't break your soul. There we go. But, you know what we say here. I think that's enough of Kanye. I think that's enough of Ye, billionaire Ye. I don't expect that this is going to be something that's going to be detrimental to his bottom line or detrimental to his health. This, to me, is also something that I think is in his master plan. That's like how we've heard him on past albums literally tell you how he was going to act and then come out and do it. And people act like they were surprised when he did it. This may be one of those surprises where I think he kind of told us that he was going to get out of this contract, and we're just surprised at the means he took to do it. To me, like I said, this is no different than a player sitting out or a player feigning injury or doing something that they need to do in order for their organization to finally say, you know what, this person's serious, let's get him out of here, because we're better off parting ways at this time than continue with them, because this isn't going to be beneficial to us. DEF CON. I already asked you my question. I really already asked you my question. And I think you've already answered it. It's not so much about who's the crazy one, but what was the difference between the Jay-Z's, between the Prince? Yeah, Prince hiding his masters. Yet, we over here thinking that, yeah, he's crazy. Let me see what my homie Nat said. I see this shit everywhere now. I don't know what she said, but so let's stop picking on K. Let's start picking on Ye. Let's honestly treat him how he should be. Right now, he's a victim. If you guys really don't realize this by now, he is a victim of the media. He's a victim of his wife. He's a victim of a bad breakup, and he's a victim of bipolarism. He's all of that. He's not just one thing. He's all of it. And while going through a messy divorce, and while his wife is trying to kidnap him, he's also going through a bad contract dispute. And because he's Kanye, all of these things happen in the public eye. Because he is billionaire Kanye, all of these things happen in the public eye. Because we don't get this kind of access to most of our billionaires. Kanye West goes out in public with a mask when you think he's crazy. Was Michael Jackson crazy? Or was he just so popular that people just wanted to make up anything they could about him? That when you're on your that top, when you're that high up, that you really just have jealous people that want to knock you down. People that were bona fide fans, and suddenly you didn't sing something right how they want it sung, and they want you canceled now. We've seen this with TikTokers. Somebody didn't respond to somebody that something that they to a question that they had, and somebody reported them for what they were doing. Now they couldn't have fun with a patient that consented with the videos. But you was a big time fan. Just remember that. Just remember why you loved them in the first place. And then ask yourself, if why I am bucking against them now, is it really my own thought and beliefs, or am I just following the entertainment bell curve, the celebrity bell curve of liking them and then not liking them and then liking them again? How about you just like them until they do something that really is egregious? Like expose themselves to women, like rape people, shoot people, kill people, like use government money to fund a tennis court. You know, how about that? Or how about you hate somebody for that? You know, how about exposing themselves to 70 plus women that were just trying to that was just trying to make a living? How about that? Or grooming young women from high school to be your sex slave? How about that? I know I'm not talking about R. Kelly. I'm talking about, what's this guy's name? Justin Cole from the Tampa Bay Lightning. I know we haven't talked about him for a while. Ian Cole, my bad. Ian Cole from the Tampa Bay Lightning. Yes, he's grooming women in high school to be his sex slave. Like, those are the individuals that should be polarizing. The Brett Favres and the Ian Coles of the world. Those are the guys that we should be publicly hearing about all of their sponsors dropping them. But you don't hear nothing about that. You don't hear about Ian Cole losing sponsors because he's been taking advantage of underage women, because America low-key supports the trafficking of women. Let's be serious. If not, something would have been done a long time ago. They'll spend $1 trillion on a drug that has no issues, that we all know that the only reason it was fought against was so that the steel, plastic, and paper industries could be put, and tobacco industry could be pushed forward. We can spend $1 trillion there, but not $1 trillion to try to stop the sex trafficking of women. We can spend our energy there, but we don't hear about companies canceling, somebody stealing government money that's supposed to be used for children and child education and building up child programs so that he can build a golf course or tennis course or whatever the fuck he wanted to do. Yeah, those are the people that you allow to go silent while you ring to the top of your lungs about Ime Udoka, who had consensual sex with a co-worker. Right? You blast all over the place about Kanye, who just wants to get out of his deal because Adidas is improperly representing him. But the scumbags of the real scumbags of the world, we constantly let slide. The real scumbags of the world, you let off the hook because, again, your arms are short. You like low-hanging fruit. You like that Eve fruit. That shit's sexy to you. It's easy. You don't know about the hard-working shit. Kanye sounds easy to go after because you can easily misinterpret what the fuck he says and make believe your own scenario. When you can't make believe what Ian Cole is doing, you can't make believe what Brett Favre is doing or did. You can't drop no other fantasy scenario from that. It's black and white. Ian Cole is basically raping young women in high school. Brett Favre is stealing government money to go build to build recreation centers for his fucking family. Yet Kanye is over here having his kids kidnapped and you want to twist the story to anti-Semitic rhetoric when you don't even know what the word Semitic means. And now they go after Kyrie Irving. I told you guys this is gonna be an interesting podcast on Monday because I'm not for nothing. I'm in a foul mood. Jets lost, Giants lost, Bills lost. No, Bills didn't lose. Jets lost, Giants lost, Knicks lost. Yankees got swept, but that still happened in the past. Still hurts. So yeah, I'm in a foul mood. All these topics that I haven't had a chance to bring up, we gonna fight today. I'm giving somebody a tongue lashing today. Excuse me. Not a mercy. So now they roll this into Kyrie Irving, right? Kyrie Irving, he recently shared a book. And kind of tell people to read the book. A public book that's been out there. Don't quite know what the book is about. I think it's from Jewish to Negro or some shit like that. And they call it an anti-Semitic book. Now I have to look at it because I feel like I've heard the name of this book before. I also feel like it's one of those books that either Ice Cube or Nick Cannon has advised to read. One of these things I know that these books talk about. They give you the perfect. They break down the different regions and the true definition of Semitic at times. At times, some of them. I don't know if that book is one of them. I know a lot of the books that they recommended. That's the path that they went down because, like I said, we get pigeonholed sometimes. Right? Our brain does his own little connect the dot autopilot thing. We hear Semitic, we think American Jew as the image in our head. You hear you need a bandage, you ask for a Band-Aid. Band-Aid is the brand. You want petroleum jelly, you ask for Vaseline. You want to search something, you tell people to Google it. You hear Semitic, you think American Jew. Or you know what I mean when I say American Jew. The image that we have of Jewish people here in America generally. So, again, I see the stretch, and I like the fact that and I see that Kanye hasn't backed down from sharing a book that anybody could share. That's like they said when they accused Kanye of giving out somebody's address when it was an address you could have Googled. It's a book you could have Googled. If you're looking for, it's like if you're searching through deeper knowledge of history, these are one of those books you're going to run into, depending on the kind of knowledge you're seeking. We ain't talking about like this. It's not if you're trying to seek hate. No, just knowledge, more understanding of oneself. Peoples or history or climate or regions, or because we all know that America has told us the part of history that comes from that is seen through American eyes, which not for nothing. I know there's a big uproar about how they teach history, right? But let's always remember that history is taught. We've also always learned, just let me back that up. We've always learned that history is taught by the conquerors. History is taught by the victors. History is written by the victors. I don't know if you guys have heard this forever, but I've heard this forever. Now, what that leads is that if there are unvictorious people in your land that grow to a certain number and get a certain amount of voice, your version of history may no longer fly. Because they're going to want the truth to be told so that it is never forgotten, so that it can't just be watered down to make it seem peaceful and make a set of people seem not so barbaric. You know. That's how history is written. We've known this forever. But I can understand. See, half the time, that's the thing about it, right? Can you understand? Not, do you even agree with me sometimes? Right? Because sometimes to ask somebody to agree with may be a far-fetched, right? A far-fetched request. Do you understand? Sometimes is a whole lot easier. Because somebody may understand where you're coming from and still not agree with you. And if you understand where I'm coming from, it's okay. You know what? You don't need to agree with me. Because now I know that you understand. Which that, depending on how we clash the next time, you may understand how I read, then you're going to perfectly understand how I react. And that's what understanding is. We all strive to be understood. Kanye wants to be understood. Kyrie Irving wants to be understood. Both of them went through a dramatic parental loss early in their career, at almost the peak of their career, when the person that they lost was generally their, what's the word I'm looking for? Lightning conducting rod. That's what I'm looking for. Right? Grounded. It's that very person that kept them grounded. And while Kanye may still have his father, and I forget who Kyrie still has, as you can clearly see, it still isn't the same. But both of them went through a similar scenario. At the peak of their career, they probably lost the individual closest to them, when they probably could have used them the most. And something clicked, something snapped in both of them. I don't want to say something snapped, something clicked. And you see with Kyrie, you'll say this a million times and beyond, it forced him to go find a higher meaning of self. Through that higher meaning of self, we've seen him take sabbaticals, change religion, start fast. What does this sound like? Sounds very Semitic. Sounds very Semitic. Kyrie's also anti-Semitic as well now, too. It's funny, right? When Kanye was out here talking about slave was a choice for black people, not one company in that he was saying, talking hate speech towards black people, that he should be canceled or anything like that. Right? Because when it's black on black, it's okay. But when it's Semitic on Semitic, it's not okay. So, but let's go forward again, right? That was one of those thought bubbles. But the moment Kanye talks about the individuals that run his industry and how they've been trying to control his voice and how they've controlled the message and the voices of entertainers in the past, he's crazy. And that's when he gets canceled. Not when he said black. When he said slave is a choice. None of that shit was crazy talk. But pointing out his workplace issues, a workplace that happens to be ran by a certain group of individuals that can have enough power to get somebody like him canceled, get somebody like him removed from his Adidas deal, get somebody like him removed from Balenciaga, get somebody like him removed from beverages. Like, they have that kind of power to call that in. Because if you control radio and television, right? That means you control also the advertisement that happens on radio and television. And those guys like to advertise their stuff. I'm not saying that the people that are in Kanye's direct business run the world, but they definitely control a massive part of the message that is given, that the world hears, especially in the United States. And the United States is one big reality show for the rest of the world. So in a weird way, right, if Kanye's level is 10,000 over, right, or it's 10 billion over 20 billion, then, and he's trying to say that, you know what, these guys kind of control the world. We can, in our own world, we can see 1/2 and quite understand that, you know what, they do kind of control a big portion of the message that's put out there. And if you control 70% of the message, and the message controls the world, and you control 70% of, damn near control the world. Where's Kanye's lies? Where's the anti-Semitism? Like I said, because I can say everything I'm saying without having to point out a specific group of people, but it'll be almost irresponsible because there's a specific group of people that does this industry. That's who he's referring to. Those are people that is in his world. His world now. Let's bring it into the circle. Those are people that run his world. So he has to point that out. Those are the people that's taking advantage of the bad contracts. Those are the people that are taking advantage of all these entertainers. And we've seen this for far too long. But yet, we always consider it tongue-in-cheek. And when somebody points it out, we call them crazy. Who's calling them crazy? That's the thing about it. When did you first hear they were crazy? Did you hear that from your neighbor? Did you hear it from a person that was talking beside you? Or did you read it somewhere first? Was it a headline? Kanye is crazy. And if you heard it from a headline first, if you saw it on a tickler first, and that's the first time you thought Kanye was crazy, then think to yourself, who controls the tickler? Who controls the headlines? Who told you Kanye was crazy? But Kanye's crazy, right? I'm just saying, Kanye don't sound that crazy to me. Kanye really don't sound like that crazy to me. What sounds crazy to me is the people that are out here just blindly calling people crazy. Is Kanye kind of bipolar? Yeah. But guys, be honest. How many of you don't have a bipolar girlfriend? And you love your Death by Snoo Snoo. You don't think everything that your girlfriend or wife or whoever she says is invalid, do you? Do you dismiss everything that she's ever said? Or is she the person that shares your household? Is she also the person that's the mother of your kid? Is she also your confidant? Because she can have bipolar and be all those things too, right? But Kanye's crazy. No, tú eres loco. Let's roll up and let's roll up and roll out. I think I've spent more than enough time talking about Kanye. We've reached the 2-hour mark. We fully reached the 2-hour mark. You know what? I'm gonna take a break. We're gonna come back to the show. Maybe we talk Brooklyn. Maybe we talk Lakers. Maybe we talk Tampa. Maybe we talk Green Bay. Who knows what we do next on the MyT Sports Podcast? We're going to keep it 100% Kanye. You're not going to know what I'm about to do next. But I do want you to return after I take this very quick commercial break.
They didn't join this team to win championships, become famous. They joined because there is more to be done.
More annoying than the mask.
And only some able to do it. They are brighter, better educated, led, and equipped than any team.
Put in my hair like I'm about to be face deep in some.
Doctors, lawyers, engineers, technologists, and combat troops, all prepared for whatever comes their way. You'll find them where the lights don't flash, and the only contract they sign is with themselves and their country. One day, they may be asked what they did to make a difference in this world, and they can respond, I became a soldier.
And we are back with the MyT Sports podcast. I am still your host, the one and only Donald Taylor. There we go. Thank you guys for still listening. I don't know if you guys see the third mask change, fourth mask change for the day. Yeah, it's still Halloween. We still in here. Wakanda forever. We've been talking about some black shit today. We really have. Like we've gotten full into our blackness today. But you know what? That's what sports is. Sports is a lot of blackness. Like in general. Like we're all over the place, right? Like we outside for real, for real. Started off with Unapologetic, right? The great show directed by Roberta Emerson. We also talked to you about in Art We Lust 3. We talked about Young Frankenstein. Again, 2 shows put on by another beautiful black woman. Whew, talk about like real beautiful black woman. Like I'm talking about like goddamn, like I did a double take and my neck got stuck. Like am I gonna be like this forever? Like oh, I don't mind. I don't mind all through the night. I don't mind. Right. So let's get into it. Right. Let's get into some sports. Right. Because sports happen. I know you guys are winning. Like some actual sports did happen. I'm not gonna lie. I've been avoiding the sports today. Because Jets lost, Giants lost, Knicks lost. Let's get the hard one out the way. We got that Knicks talk. 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 Go New York, 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 go New York. Go New York, go! Let's get into our Knicks talk. Wakanda forever. My Knicks didn't show. Nah, I'm not even going to front. I'm not even going to throw them underneath the bus like that, like they laid a complete fucking egg. They didn't close out. They didn't close out. Now, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. This is also the same exact way I started off in my 2K season. And they had me on the team. So I'm just going to say, lost to Memphis, won 3 straight, then I lost my next 3, and we went like a massive winning streak after that. That's probably not going to happen for the Knicks. But don't be surprised if we lose our next 3 games. I'm going to tell you what happened. Listen, we didn't play bad. Knicks didn't play bad. We lost 108 to 121. Didn't play bad. We just crumbled at the wrong moment. Didn't play bad all game. Game was close in the first quarter. I think we were down by 10 at the half, right? Then we're up by like 10 in the third. So going into the fourth, we're up by damn near 10. And as you can see, we lost. So after we completed a 20-point turnaround, we also gave up another 20-point turnaround. Lost by 13. Donovan Mitchell went completely off. I think he hit like what? Did he hit like 7 3-pointers in that game? If I'm not mistaken, Donovan Mitchell, I think he hit like 7 3-pointers in that game. Went completely off. Donovan Mitchell looked like, wow. I wish he was playing for the Knicks. Like, wow. How did you let this get away? Like, wow. That's exactly how this looked with Donovan Mitchell. He looked amazing. Amazing. A word I like to use with my smoochie, sensational. He looked sensational. Simply irresistible. She's alright. She's alright. That girl's alright with me. Yeah. Message. Unity. Oh man, you guys just wait. You guys wait. I'm telling you, next year's costume is going to be in fuego. Yes, I love Halloween that much. I'm already prepared for next year's costume because I didn't celebrate Halloween this year. And they be like, yo, you can still go out tonight. I got the podcast tonight. I still got to be recording here with you guys for a whole nother hour. They talking like, I got to go. I got to get dressed. I got to get mingled, all stuff. I mean, you know what? Let me send this text one more time to make sure that she's okay. Because actually, that's what I'm doing. And not respond back when I ask you if you Gucci or not. Because at this point, I'm just trying to make sure that well-being is okay. It's not even about like, hey, you trying to like, because I felt like what you doing, like that was a link-up kind of text, like, hey, yo, what you doing? I'm out and about. Let's go catch you something. Oh, you know? I was like, yo, I'm doing the pod. Next thing you know, radio silence. I don't like radio silence. We're going to have to set a time frame. Either how long we're able to go in silence. She was right there. Oh yeah, she was out to dinner. Okay. How long we can go without radio silence without it being considered a no call, no show? Like seriously, like I said, building foundations here. You know what I mean? I need a sip of my sippy sip. One of the things, this is how we drank that in that costume. Speaking of, yo, Michael B. Jordan in this Rocky series. Woo! Or Creed series, I should say. Woo! That shit is getting fire. But let's continue. Let's pull the hockey mask down. Let's get back into the pit. What was I talking about? I think I really forgot what I was talking about. Let's move on. Let's move forward. March forward and watch on. We talk the Halloween shit. The Lakers get their first win. Right? No, I'm tripping. I was talking Knicks. The music cut off. I forgot already. Yeah, Donovan Mitchell made me regret not having him on the Knicks. And that's probably the easiest way I could say is that he looked like damn, we really wish we would have had you on the Knicks still. He went off for 38 points in that game. 38 points he went off for. Kevin Love dropped 29 points in 22 minutes. He was bombing for threes. Now, you know what? This is one of those games where you hope it's not a norm. Because this looked like one of our bad games from last year. Where we couldn't guard the three for shit. And it looked like we got a big dosage of that again in this game. Where the Knicks just really couldn't guard the three. And I started saying this a couple weeks ago. Or a couple shows ago, maybe. I don't even know if it's been a couple weeks now. More than ever before, more than ever in the last 10 years, the Knicks really need a go-to guy. The Knicks really need a superstar now. They need a Donovan Mitchell now. Donovan Mitchell, to go up against Donovan Mitchell, would have won this game against the Cavs. The Knicks would have beat the Cavs if we had our own Donovan Mitchell. If we had our Bradley Beal. Whoever that is. If we had him, we win this game. Because everybody else is just kind of mediocre. Now, not to take away from Cleveland's defense. One of the top defensive teams in the league. RJ Barrett, 15 points. Julius Randle, 15 points. Jalen Brunson, 16. Fournier, 16. Hartenstein almost put up a double-double with his hustle. We saw Cam Reddish come in the game early and bang a three, right? Like cross between the legs and do a step back. I saw a couple of things as for the Knicks, right? And it all accumulates from a couple of transactions. we no longer have these old guys on the team, right? So now there's no reason not to play Emmanuel Quickly, not to play Deuce McBride, not to play Obi Toppins, not to play Cam Reddish. Because before you could kind of justify it, right? You had better trust. You had more trust in the veterans of Kimber Walker, Nerlson's Noel, Taj Gibson, and I forget who the shooting guard name was. Alex Burke, whatever his name is. You have more confidence in those veterans, those higher paid guys in those scenarios. Now with them gone, you have no choice but to play these young guys. So now they have to get minutes. But also, you realize from last year, Knicks organization and Knicks fans, you should have realized as Knicks fans from last year, because of that lack of playing time. You heard what came out, the reports from last on the offseason. These guys had no value in the offseason. Excuse me. Because nobody really had a clue of what they can really do. Nobody had some of the guys that we were willing to get rid of, like the Cam Reddish and this guy. Nobody really saw them in the last year, so they couldn't fully evaluate them. They didn't have the proper stock, right? They weren't valued, they weren't appraised right because of how they looked. Now this year, see, it ties into me saying that this more than any other year, we need a star now because we finally have the team. We finally have the young core of a team that just needs one good scoring leader, one bona fide bucket getter. That's what they need, a full-on BBG. That's outside of that. Actually, yeah. The other side of that is that now that they're in a position, now that you can see that they're in a position where they definitely that bona fide bucket getter, you can see the need of it now because now you can see all of your young guys kind of playing. So unless one of these guys truly break out between now and game 35, then you're gonna see that, okay, they need a bucket getter. But if they're all looking like this, 15 points, 16 points, 15 points, 12 points, 7 points, 9 points in their roles. If Cam Reddish is looking how he looks now in his role, right? Deuce McBride in his role, Emmanuel Quickly in his role. Not only more important, do you now need a guy that can really just be the 30-point getter while all these guys get their 15, 15s, 20, and 12. But now you're starting to finally build assets. And that's what you didn't have last year with these young guys. They were underappraised. They were undervalued because they were misutilized. Now they've been utilized. Now we're seeing what they can do on a more consistent basis. But not just us. The league is seeing what they can do on a more consistent basis. Scouts are seeing what they can do on a more consistent basis. Execs are seeing what they can do on a more consistent basis. So now, we go to try to make a trade. Instead of saying the best that you can do is get, I'm trying to think, Karis LeVert for all your picks. Now, we can get you a Bradley Beal maybe. Now we can probably get you the Donovan Mitchell. Now we can probably get you a Devin Booker. So I wonder, what does Phoenix look like without Chris Paul? Do they stay or does it all fall? Do they win or does it all crumble to the ground? What happens when Chris Paul's not around? I just made that up on the fly. That's a real question that I've been having. What happens when Chris Paul is no longer there? Chris Paul maybe only have like another year or two. And in the Knicks timeline, believe me when I say, another year or two is still on pace. This isn't no microwave team. Knicks fans, I'm telling you right now that this is a team where when they finally have the team that's that consistent, true playoff and Eastern Conference championship contender, that's where it starts first. We may only have 5 of the people that were here before, that we're all looking at now. And those 5 people may not be R.J. Barrett, Obi Toppin, Quentin Grimes. You understand? Our fan favorites is what I'm saying. We may lose half of those fan favorites because those fan favorites are fan favorites. And they're going to want those fan favorites to be fan favorites other place houses. And also, they're going to hear about the fan favorites more and gravitate towards them. That's because they're fan favorites. They're the guys that are going to be sticking out a little bit more. For when they're doing their lazy scouting, when they're doing their in-depth scouting, those fan favorites may not be the more conducive guys for their plan. But you know, sometimes you got to make the splash. Cause your body speaks to me. I'm getting hair all over my mouth. I can feel myself eating this hair. Pull it. I got my own hair in my face. Pull it. Let's pull it. Let's put this down. Actually, nah. We got to finish out strong. How much time we got left? Got a lot of time left. Like 45 minutes left. So the Knicks fall to 3-2. They lost their first game against Memphis, and they won their next 3 games. Which, as I said, it's perfectly understandable. And the Knicks may just go on a nice little losing streak right now. Just let you guys know. It may happen. Let's pull up their schedule. I didn't pull up their schedule before. But if I'm not mistaken, I think Milwaukee is on the docket. Who else may be on there? I wish I knew you wanted me. Okay, it's not Milwaukee. It's some other green team. So coming up next, right? For the rest of this week, we have the Hawks on Wednesday. So we'll be seeing that on the podcast live from Sharkies. They have the Sixers on Friday. Let's just hope the Sixers are still going through their own bullshit. Then we have the Celtics on Saturday. And then next Monday we got Minnesota, and then we got Brooklyn. Before we go take on Detroit next Friday. So, fans, without pounding your chest, it's time to stay realistic. That Hawks game is a 50-50 game. Sixers game is a 50-50 game. Celtics game is a 50-50 game. Minnesota game is 50-50. Brooklyn 50-50. The only game you have confidence about winning is the Detroit game. Atlanta, we know the problems that they bring, and they have that little two-headed monster between Trae Young and Devontae Murray. As we heard, Primo, as that guy Primo in San Antonio was just recently released because he was exposing himself to people, to women. And then Knicks going to Philly to take on the 76ers. 76ers have been struggling so far this year. But like the LA Lakers, they finally won a game when their biggest star wasn't on the court. Weird. We're going to take on the Celtics. Celtics aren't quite struggling so yet. And then after that, we take on Minnesota. And then Brooklyn, who's kind of struggling. But it is Brooklyn. Who knows how they get up. And also, they have an abundance of talent that can always and they can always just out-talent us at any given time. That's kind of what happened with Cleveland in that fourth quarter. Right? They brought back in Donovan Mitchell, and on top of their good defense and regular good overall solid team play, that it allows their star to go out and be a star. And just go out there and get bona fide buckets. It was tough watching that fourth quarter for the Knicks. It really was. It really was. But Donovan Mitchell, if you're a Cleveland Cavs fan, or if you're an NBA fan or as a fan of basketball, he looked impressive as impressive can be. That's so far probably, and maybe so far his best game of the season so far in his very young season. The Brooklyn Nets, they've been going through their woes. As I told you, as some of these teams that are going up and down. You've had the Brooklyn Nets kind of struggle, right, so far this year. As the Brooklyn Nets are 2-5. I said there's a lot of teams struggling early. Brooklyn Nets are 2-5. The Miami Heat are 2-5. The Lakers are 1-5. We'll talk about Lakers winning their first game in a minute. Clippers are 2-4. Warriors are 3-4. Right now on the top of the West, we're talking about Trailblazers, Suns, and Spurs. 5-1, 5-1, 5-2. Jazz also 5-2. And the East, we're talking about the undefeated Bucks, the Cavs, who we just played at 5-1, the Celtics, who are 4-2, and the Raptors, who are 4-3. That's two teams in our own division right there, Knicks fans. Celtics and the Raptors. Just think about that. The two teams ahead of us right now, Knicks fans, are the Celtics and the Raptors. The two teams below us are the 76ers and the Nets. Brace yourself. It's going to be a bumpy ride. They played 6 games already? I didn't even realize that they played 6 games already. I'm over here thinking that they only played, that this is their 4th game of the season. I really thought, let me see, they played Minnesota. Okay, and then they played Detroit, and then the Magic, and the Hornets. We played the Bucks already. Okay. There goes that game. The Bucks and the Cavs. Alrighty. I knew that losing streak was going to start somewhere. That's where it is right there. The losing streak was going to start against the Bucks. I thought this was the first game after the loss. Like after our 3-game winning streak. But this is the second game after our 3-game winning streak. So now we're at 500. Hawks, Sixers, Celtics, Wolves, Nets. That's the next 5 games that we have. Worst case scenario, people, the Knicks could come out as 3-8. And if they're 3-8, you're gonna very early lose your composure and start talking that reckless talk. I already know how you guys talk. I can see it. I can hear it now. I can hear the airways now. I can hear the podcast now. I can hear the callers now. Actually, I can hear y'all so much. I need to smoke. You guys are racking my nerves already. It ain't even happened yet. Let's put you over here until we get back into the hooded game. Your body speaks to me. I don't know why I don't speaks to me. Speaks to me. Speaks to me. Oh damn, that's a lot of fun. I wasn't paying attention. The Brooklyn Nets were having some struggles as well with their team. As I just told you that they were 2-4. They decided to have a players only meeting. Cut Steve Kerr out. Cut everybody else. So let's have a players only meeting and try to figure what the hell is going on. And ultimately what's going on is that you ain't who you thought you were. As a collective. You and Kyrie are not what you thought you were. Together. Unfortunately, Kevin Durant isn't the kind of leader that Kyrie Irving needs on his team. Because Kyrie Irving isn't the kind of leader also that a team needs. So Kyrie Irving can't be the leader. But Kevin Durant also isn't that leader. We've known this since Oklahoma City days. We've heard this come out of that camp. We all knew that Kevin Durant was the best player. It was just the fact that James Harden and especially Russell Westbrook had a hard time following Kevin Durant just because of his personality. They can easily wave him off any given time they want, brush him aside, let him slim down in a corner somewhere, and reap about whatever he wants to reap about. That was sounding good, didn't it? I know that was so they have their own little players meeting, and it's still early, but there's certain teams that early struggles you worry about. Let's take a look. Right? Let's take a look at some of these early struggles we're talking about, right? Let's start with the West, because I want to finish the East last, obviously. Let's look at these bottom 5 teams, right? And see who's so far struggling. Early on struggle. Houston, not an early struggle. Lakers, early struggle. You kind of worry about the Lakers, right? Because we haven't really seen the Lakers be dominant in this LA era, right? In this LeBron era. Like, these Lakers never look like the unbeatable team of basketball. These Lakers never look like, oh, is Duffy gonna be there? Yeah. Bronco country, let's ride. Right? Granted, they won one, but they've never been the team that you were like, man, they've kind of been disappointed their whole entire time. Kind of always struggling, puttering along the way. Like, the pandemic completely saved the LeBron James Lakers era, because this would have been a no call, no show for rings. Or, Mr. Say, let's draw it another way. A harder way to say this. If it wasn't for Kobe's death, who knows they get the motivation to win a championship. Because I've said this year already. And I think I'm going to continue saying it until you guys understand. I see a lot of guys that are happy to be Lakers, and not a lot of guys that want to be great Lakers. Even for LeBron James that constantly chases greatness. Respectfully. For LeBron James that constantly chases greatness. I feel like even he it feels a little complacent. Has gotten a little complacent with the fact, I'm a Laker. And hasn't gone for the, how can I be a great Laker and make this team one of the great Laker teams? Win a championship in a bubble where it's discredited by 70% of your peers is not a memorable Lakers franchise or era. It's memorable for the complete other reason. Like, oh yeah, they did get one in the bubble. Oh, that shit was for keys. Nobody really counts that. That's like a half. I'm not saying these is my words. I'm saying these are the words of your contemporaries, your peers, your equals. The individuals that if you had to be judged in a court of law, the people that should judging you. Get the Rockets, the Lakers, the Kings, the Clippers, and the Warriors. Not worried about the Warriors. We don't know how the Clippers have been looking lately. And the Lakers, we're still kind of worried about, because the teams that are ahead of them, you tell me how many of these teams you see falling. The Trailblazers, the Suns, the Spurs, the Jazz, the Pelicans, the Grizzlies. I just gave you the top 6. The Wolves, the Nuggets, maybe the Thunder, and the Mavs. So let's say there's one spot to squeeze in there. Who gets that last spot? Who's most likely to get that last spot between the Warriors, the Clippers, and the Lakers? I just realized 4 of these LA teams are not even in the playoffs right now. The Warriors, the Clippers, the Kings, and the Lakers. The only one are the Suns. Isn't that? Now, who's most likely to get that spot? I think the majority of people would vote for the Warriors, which leaves out the Clippers and the Lakers. It means leave you out to worry about them. No, it's 6 games. It's 6 games. We've barely played anything. Like you understand? You don't even know you're pregnant yet. Like if we had to judge us in real time, like you don't even know you pregos yet. Like you still in the club popping your pussy and drinking drinks. Niggas are still grinding up on you like you don't know you got one in you. And, you know, like they don't even realize that you loaded yourselves. They still grinding up on you like they trying to put another one in there. So this is way too early reaction to the standings. But is it though? Are there a few teams that cause you to possibly worry? Let's roll up and roll out to the East, right? The bottom teams, right, are the Magic, the Pistons, the Heat, the Nets, and the Pacers. For right now, from worst to best, right, 15 to 11. Two of those teams are thinking shouldn't be down there. That's the Nets and the Heat. You figure you hope that they're gonna make their run. Now, who do they run from? Who do they lap? Up top 6, got Bucks, Cavs, Celtics, Raptors, Hawks, and Knicks. Anybody that's not a Knicks fan will probably say the Knicks are going to be the one team that falls out of that top 6. But then we have the 76ers, the Wizards, the Hornets, and the Bulls. Is there room for Brooklyn and Miami to get in here? Oh, indubitably. Indubitably. Because you figure they can take a spot from the Knicks, the Wizards, the Hornets, or the Bulls. And if you're Miami, right, and you figure, you know what? You can still catch the Hawks. I don't know why I said it like that. Bless my heart. Bless my black little heart. My big black heart. I do got a big heart. Right? If you're Brooklyn, you got to figure in your division, you think to yourself, you know what? We can pass the Knicks. Because that's what Philly's thinking too. Now, who not for the Knicks fall? Because I think the Knicks can beat out the Wizards, as they already are. The Hornets, Bulls, as they already are. So the Knicks are currently at 6, and I can see them falling all the way down to 7th. Right? You put 2 more teams ahead of them. I have the Knicks at 9th. At worst. At worst. You know what that means. Hold on. Let's go ahead and pull that lever. Hold on. That's all? You gotta be a little bit more enthusiastic than that. Alrighty. We're gonna end up putting this one on the board. Because I know that's not a far stretch, but let's go ahead and make sure that that's up there. That oh man, oh yeah, I'm calling the Knicks versus Cavs postseason matchup. I already called for that one. That's personal though. Knicks are no further than 9th. I know that's not saying much, it's not a big proclamation, but I can see early that the Knicks definitely make sure they make the playoffs. Who knows if they make another move? That's going to be the thing to listen out for. Don't know if that's something that's really an option for the Knicks right now because I haven't heard of another name. That's probably the biggest thing here, is that since Donovan Mitchell, right? Outside of Donovan Mitchell, I haven't heard of a lot of other interest out there. I personally keep bringing up Bradley Beal, but I'm not hearing Bradley Beal talk out there. Yeah, the waters have kind of quieted down in Knick land ever since Donovan Mitchell got scooped up by Cleveland. So it's going to be interesting to see how they reassess their next star. I threw out a name earlier, and I still kind of stand by this name. And it's the other name to my equation. It's Bradley Beal and Devin Booker. Now, granted, maybe it's just me that's constantly looking at that shooting guard position. Now, maybe I can't get my eyes unglued from that. Maybe you trade for that young kid from Indiana. Who knows? Right? But those are the only other two guys that I can think of off the top of my head, outside of what was Donovan Mitchell. Maybe Murray in Utah, Denver, but he's more of a point guard though, right? He's not really a shooting guard. But those are still going to be two names I'm going to highly be listening out for. Devin Booker, because he has ties to Leon Rose. And he used to be Leon Rose used to be Devin Booker's agent. That's part of the reason why we got Leon Rose, if you guys remember, because him being an agent, he had ties to a lot of players. Karl Anthony Towns, like I said, Devin Booker, Chris Paul, amongst others, Carmelo Anthony, right? And I can see that. I remember, I'm like the Lakers. They wanted to go that Rob Lowe, that Rob Lowe route. So that's the reason why they ended up getting Leon Rose the way they did, because they saw how well it had worked out for the Lakers over the last decade or so, right? And I was also a big favorite for Kobe as well too. So yeah, with these early rankings, I don't see a lot of change yet. Well, not even a lot of change, a lot of room for panic yet. But I do see some early signs of concern. I don't see no room for I don't see the room for panic yet, but it definitely got some early signs of concern. And don't forget, folks. And next show, we're gonna be doing this a lot more intensely. All right, with the NFL, because we know what the NFL says. Every year, there's about 6 teams that make the playoffs last year that don't make it this year. We played around with this at week 4. We're revisiting again at week 8. Man, what you guys are going to see is going to amaze you. Don't worry, I did all the homework for you. All you gotta do is come and listen on Wednesday. Whether you listen on the air, whether you listen for the re-air, or you listen live at Sharky's while I am there. 8:07 p.m., 11:07 p.m. We do MyT trivia, 90 minutes into the show. I have to say 90 minutes because, that start time has an issue on it. Which means that I may not quite start at 8:07. I may start at 8:17 or 8:27 or 8:37 or sometimes 9:07 or 9:37 or 9:17. Those are only on rough days. That's usually I gotta take, guys, regardless of the time and regardless of the weather. Right, there's always a blast on the MyT Sports Podcast. Right? That's usually why it's no, like, regardless of the time and weather is in there, because that time gets a little bit of tricky. It's tricky. I don't know if it's just me, and this could be the pettiest portion of me out there. I take pleasure in these Tom Brady losses. Like, you know what? Not for nothing, right? I don't know if I said this already. Not for nothing. I remember either in preseason or late last year or early this year already, one of these players took up for LeBron James was like, the fact that these people out there really want to see this man lose is weird to me. How, Sway? How? How is that weird? This is sports. If LeBron James doesn't play for my team, then I want him to lose. Plain and simple. How the fuck is that so hard for you to comprehend as an athlete of a professional sport? I forget who said this dumb shit. Oh, man, I can't believe man, this day and age still want to see him lose. You're damn right. Let me guess. You want LeBron James to go 82-0? Is that like? Remember, you're an NBA player yourself. I'm the person that said this. You want LeBron James to go 82-0? You want him to sweep every team that he plays in the playoffs? You want him to take on a championship every single year? Or would you like to get one of them those years? Or would you like to make sure his record is 81-1? Or would you like to give him a losing series when he plays you in the playoffs? That means you want to see that man lose too. Ignorant hypocrite. Think before you speak. Like I'm over here like really? Like this is what you come like you have penetrated so far down your throat by LeBron James's mindset that you can't think of you think it's weird that people don't root for him? It's sports. You root for the people that you like, and you root for the people that you don't like. You root for people on your team, and sometimes you root against everybody else that isn't. It's your team and fuck everybody else. Isn't that kind of how we grew up like in sports? And like the people that get upset about you people out there flip-flopping teams and liking this team and liking that team. Or the people that have the issues with LeBron James switching teams all around town because they want to like LeBron James on Cleveland, have him in Cleveland. Because the way our mindset was in sports, it's my team and fuck everybody else. That's like how it is, and you guys in the locker room. That's how we feel about our fandom. In the locker room, it's us. It's all about us, and it's fuck the world, fuck the outside noise, and fuck that other team. That's how we feel about our teams as fandoms. So, yeah, LeBron James people want LeBron James to lose. Unfortunately, LeBron James isn't going to lose every single game. Like LeBron James isn't going to win every single game. But why is it that every single team that Patrick Beverley has been on over the last couple of years is involved with some kind of overreaction? I get it. Big dog. Got his first up. But damn, I know it feels good. I know you're trying to show him the love, but damn, did you have to act like you just won a championship? It was win number 1. You made it sound like it was win number 4 in a 7-game series for a championship. Well, maybe not, because everything was clear. You know what? I could be a hater. Because LeBron James isn't on my team. So I hate everything that they do over there. Weird way. Maybe I'm over-exaggerating because you know what? The liquids that they did throw on him, everything was clear. There was no colored drinks. There was no bubbly being popped. Right? Just bottles of water. No goggles needed because it was just water. No confetti. Right? Just water bottle tops because it was just water. So I can see the difference in how to sell a butt. Some of that body language though was like, yo. That's what that body language was in that locker room. But it's getting crazy though. Brooklyn Nets struggling to get wins. They just got their second win. The Lakers just got their first win last night. And ironically, by letting Russ cook. Well, ironically, when Russ finally cooked, if I'm not mistaken, I think LeBron James wasn't playing for this game. And this ball ended up being heavily in Russell Westbrook's hands. And Russell Westbrook had him a Russell Westbrook kind of game. Driving to the lane, sitting down on people, behind the back, between the legs, a step back, a hezzy, a drive, and a... right? A little bit of Brodyism. I forgot what I was going to say. He had 22 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists, something like that. Close to a triple-double. But he had one of his old games. And it went back to me mentioning that it's going to be difficult to win a game with Russell Westbrook if you don't let Russ be Russ. I didn't quite say that here on the podcast yet, right? You know, we've missed a considerable amount of Fridays recently, so I've had shows lined up that I haven't quite gotten on the air, but I've shared some of these sentiments with people as we talked randomly. So I hear myself saying it. It's not quite sure if I said it to you yet. We all know that anybody that plays with LeBron James, their numbers automatically go down. And we also know that LeBron James happens to be a ball hawk kind of individual that acquires the ball in his hand. Now, it's not that. So when they have issues with LeBron James, and people play with LeBron James, not saying that there's not enough ball to go around. What they mean is not saying that LeBron James like to hold on to the ball a little too much, even though he's very much of a passer. He likes to be ball dominant. We've seen Russell Westbrook struggle in the career of in the role of off-ball guard. We've seen him struggle there. We've seen it in Houston, where we also saw Chris Paul also struggle in the role of off-ball guard. These are guys that are point guards, and they're most effective with the ball in their hands. So, I guess the question is, who's really the selfish player on this team? Is it LeBron James or is it Russell Westbrook? Who has made the sacrifice to help his team win more? Has it been LeBron James or has it been Russell Westbrook? Who's constantly made the change? We are constantly being scrutinized every time they lost. I was Russell Westbrook. While Russ has made the has willingly made up his mind to change up his role so that he can fit in on his team. Where has LeBron changed up his role so that he can help his teammates win? Outside of, I'm still going to run point four and try to get my guys in the best position. No. What if your best position, because you are such a great player that you are, is off the ball? You've played off the ball before. You're okay with that, little. I would think that it's a lot easier for the great LeBron James to get in rhythm than it is for a lonely old Russell Westbrook who can't cook. I wonder big time. Because while LeBron James has gotten his numbers as he's always has, you know what his numbers as he's always has isn't equating to? Wins. Because him getting his numbers stops everybody else from doing their thing. Russ ain't a spot-up shooter. He's going to put him in a corner and send him out the ball every once in a while and hope that I have the ball in my hands. Kind of the reason why they wanted him to come off the bench, so that he can beat Russ off the bench. But Russ is still deflecting in his game to fit the team. And the one that Russ becomes Russ, the Lakers get their first win. Now, when Anthony Davis was Anthony Davis, ah, ah, ah. Well, LeBron James was being LeBron James, greatest basketball mind in the world. LeBron James wanted his damn respect. No. It was when Russ was Russ. It's when Russ cooked. It's when Russ finally said, hey, yo, stop saying you don't like what you've never tried and actually try this food. And you try it and you're like, this is delicious, sensational. Folks, we're about to cut off the show pretty soon. Actually, we're about to get off the air real soon. So congratulations to the Lakers getting their first win, right? Congratulations to their coach. Congratulations to Russell Westbrook, like finally having a game worthy enough for the press to talk good about him and the fans. Because it was looking bad. It was looking real bad for the Lakers. I guess I got an opportunity to really avoid how bad the Jets and the Giants looked. We got 10 minutes, right? Let's swim in somebody else's aura for a while. And that is one of Tampa Bay and Tom Brady. This game went exactly how we said this was going to go. And this game almost ended the way that we feared the most. We thought that Baltimore was going to win this game. The only thing we feared was if that defense of theirs didn't hold up and Tampa Bay had that ball when it mattered the most, and they did that little unnecessary comeback drive. But you're starting to see the wear and tear on Tom Brady. Don't know if this is emotional or physical, a little bit of both, because if it's emotional, then it's going to be physical. You may not realize that. Let you guys know. If you're emotionally fucked up, as much as you keep trying to play through it, you're going to be physically fucked up. So I don't know if he's just depressed and messed up in the head right now from his situation, or if he's finally getting old. Because if he's finally getting old, we can make fun of it. We could poke at it. We could prod at it. This man is going through some mental distress because his wife is leaving, and we're not going to Antonio Brown him. I'm not a fan of Tom Brady either, but there's lines here, and I do have boundaries. I am a habitual line stepper my damn self. Message. Halloween, gotta love it. Gotta love it. Got about 5 minutes left into the podcast. They almost came back and won this game. Baltimore was able to hold them off. Lamar Jackson continues to win. You see children with signs talking about pay this man and all the other goodness that it. Right, and he probably needed to turn around bigger than Russell Wilson needs to turn around. How as bad as Russell Wilson needs to turn around. Russell Wilson got a nice little dub in this past game, but more importantly, Baltimore beating Tampa Bay. I was real happy about that. We were able to at least hold on to that, even as the Jets lost. And again, that we thought they would lose. It's like the Knicks. They weren't playing bad until the fourth quarter. What's going on, Mark? They were actually doing good until the fourth quarter. And the fourth quarter hit and everything went to shit. It was a sad weekend in New York. It was very hard to celebrate. Like Baltimore beat up on Green Bay. Like that's the only thing I'm getting. That's the only solace I'm getting my happiness from right now. Is Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady getting beat up every weekend now. So anything I gotta look forward to. I know I was happy about the Jets and shit, but I'm gonna have to like swim in somebody somebody's sorrow. And right now, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers pool. Oh, it run this over. The view of this motherfucker is incredible. Well, who's that peeping in the window? Is that a model? Oh, my bad. That's your wife. Shit. That's a Money Sports Podcast. We're out of here. Yowzers.